Jesus, we remember your kindness. Even when we forget, you remind us how you left the 99 to find us.
Right, so hey Bexy, it's good to have you back on Common. Keep the conversation going. I think you spoke maybe 10 months ago or something.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
I can't remember what we spoke about either, but it was something something really important. But this time, you know, so since January 2024, you in New Life Church, Crouch Valley, you've been part of the young adults and youth leadership team.
Yeah.
And you do that, I think, with 5 or 6 others. Is that correct?
Yeah, without me getting out my fingers and counting. Yeah, I think it's about that.
It's and one of the people has gone off to Bible college, which is really great. So what's been your experience of, you know, this is the first step in leadership in a church. So what things do you think you've learned?
I've learned a lot. I've learned that obviously there's challenges, which I kind of knew already there would be challenges, but like the nature of those, there's just all different challenges. You get different feedback, which is sometimes more helpful than others, but any feedback is good feedback. And then
remember, complaints are gifts poorly wrapped.
Yeah. And but overall it's been a good experience, like getting to know the youth more and seeing them engage and seeing what obviously works and doesn't work, and it can be very rewarding. And
then of course the other thing to learn in the role, isn't it, is learning to work alongside others.
Oh yeah.
And one of my observations of the experience of watching you guys work together is a lot of the administration has in the early days seemed to fall on you.
Yeah. I mean, I was like at the point, so like we started in January, but we did a bit before that. But when it got to like the summer, I think I knew that I was like at the point of like burning out and being like, this is too much. So I had to really be like delegate, and like we had to change how we structure things, because I was doing like basically all of the admin, which we agreed at first, but then we're like, this isn't working. So then we like split up into groups, and that group leader does that admin, which has worked better. But at first it was like, I was a bit like, you have to obviously relinquish that control, and obviously you can see what other people are doing, and I'm like, that person hasn't sent an email yet, I'm going to do that email.
But in some ways, isn't it, it's very easy to become controlling.
Yeah.
Because if you feel if you're not controlling, you won't get the job done. Yeah. But that isn't great for long-term development.
Yeah, I mean, like, because I was like, I could easily say so-and-so hasn't done this right now, and there were times where things were left too late and things had to be cancelled, but I got to a point where I was like, that's just going to have to be the way it is, and people will hopefully learn from like mistakes or what worked and didn't work, and it's a lot better now. But at first it was like, I've got to let it go and like let people work them out themselves, because everyone has their different strengths, and some of them might not be communication and admin and stuff, but they'll figure it out. And
also the other thing is, our way is not the only way of doing something. Because I remember in the summer last year, I remember saying to you guys, whatever you do, I wouldn't do Limitless, and I wouldn't do After Hours. Give yourself a year just to get into the role. And within a few moments, like a few weeks, there you were doing Limitless and After Hours. And I remember when you went off to holiday in the summer, you wasn't going to Limitless. You said, give me a call just to let me know that the van has turned up, the tents have been found. It was... Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's not easy, is it? Because it's not always easy just to let go.
Well, it was a last-minute get-together of everything. But obviously we've learned that for this year, and... yeah, I mean, obviously we made the decision to go anyway, because I think if we didn't do it last year, we'd be in a similar position this year. We were always going to have to go through the experience of doing it once and then learning from that.
I can remember when I found out, I was thinking, I
Your
only
blood
gave
pressure went up.
Yeah, I was thinking I only gave 2 bits of advice really. Don't do Limitless and don't do After Hours, and then here you are doing it. But for me, it was a learning curve. You chose to do it. Your reliance on seeing God bring it all together was really great. Watching you all sort of like get to that point. But so from a spiritual perspective, like, what have you learned about yourself? Any little nuggets that you...
Definitely about control, which I know you've spoken about before.
Yeah. So did you find yourself quite controlling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I was going to say to you before.
So what would be...
When you talk about control, I'm like, oh.
What would be my spiritual response? Who's the only person that you can control?
Me.
Exactly. It's ourselves, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've tried controlling others. It don't work.
Yeah.
It's a bit like your dog, or your little puppy dog. You
Yeah.
can't control.
No,
you can't.
no,
I'm not saying everybody's puppies here, but it's difficult to control anybody else, and sometimes it's difficult to control yourself. But you've learned that you had sort of like controlling tendencies.
Yeah. It's
So what changes have you made to kind of let that get sort of work through?
Like I say, just rather than just like jumping on it and being like, have you done this, have you done this, just like I say, just like let them, like, unless there's obviously something like urgent where I'm like, you really do need to do that, like generally just be like, it will get sorted, it'll be fine, like just...
So what about with the guys that you work with? How do you find, do you find that you can be really open and honest with them? Yeah, mostly. Because when you first took on the role of being a part of our youth and young adults leadership team, you were quite quiet.
Do you think?
I think you were. I've noticed you get more you've become more confident, which I think is great. You're more vocal. Yeah. I think I was mostly from the start more vocal. Like, there are definitely people within the group that are more vocal than others. So sometimes I feel like I'm talking too much now. But yeah. Yeah, which is not something that never been levelled at me. I often talk too much. But the ability to listen, isn't it, to one another is something that you learn eventually when you're on a team, to actually listen more than talk. Yeah, because there have been some things mostly that have come up more recently, but things in general that obviously someone will say something and I'm like, oh, I don't quite agree with that, but then when we talk about it more, that I'm like, actually that would make more sense. I think listening is obviously important, as well as putting forward like what you think as well. Yeah, I was in a meeting recently where I said to someone, I'm not looking for you to do what I say. Yeah. But what I do want to feel is that I'm being heard. Yeah. Because it's important, isn't it, that we feel, if we're on a team, that we're adding some value to it. And when you've got a view, you just want to be heard. Yeah. When we start to only want it to be done our way, or we throw our toys out of the pram, we've kind of missed what God wants from us, you know. Yeah, I think a lot of time I want to hear from people more. I'm like, come on, guys, let's all put forward what we want. Like, I'm like, Jacob, say something. Like, put forward what you think. But, yeah. I mean, because there's two, on the team, there's 2 girls and I think four guys, isn't there? Yeah. So do you feel the guys respect you? And Yeah, definitely. That's a very strong answer. Yeah. That's really good to the guys in the New Life Church. Well, we're all guys. Good friends now as well. So I feel like I can just say whatever I think. I don't think I have to like hold anything back. Good, and that's really great. And just one final thing. What have you learnt about working with people who are on a journey of finding Jesus or growing in their relationship with God? What kind of things stretch you when you look at the people that you're ministering to? What do you mean? Yeah, okay. You didn't expect that question, did you? No. So what, when you're working with people who are looking to you for leadership, what things have you learned?
Yeah, I think you always have to remind people, obviously, of who they are and their strengths. Like, I always try and ask people about like how their week has been. So like you said, like being heard is important, and even just knowing things like what's going on in the youth's lives, I think, is important, so they're heard and you know what's going on with them and you can pray for them is really important, and to encourage them when they do have those successes, which is one of the reasons I don't know what the youth think why I do this, but when we do the Older Life Hub, I always ask what their peak and their pit is of their week, so the good things and like not so good things, so then we can encourage the things that have gone well in their week, and then it can also tell us like what things maybe didn't go as well, so we can like pray for that. And encourage any good things, and anything going on in their lives, really.
Yeah, so guys, that's just a little snapshot of Bex's journey into beginning leadership, and I just wanted to, it was a last minute call just to get her to come and share a little bit about that. But guys, it's really important that we create environments where people feel they can grow and develop. It's okay to not always get it right. Sometimes you learn from failures more than you learn from successes. And so thanks, Bexy, I really appreciate you coming on. And remember, guys, you're the head, not the tail, and God wants to do something good through you today.
How you left the 99 to find us.